Hi everyone. So while I just sage the cards, I hope you're all well. Today we're going to be doing a reading on Gypsy, Rose, Blanchard. Now I think I saw this in the news, but nothing that I really looked into. And a couple of days ago, the name came up and it said due to be released from prison early, and I was like, okay, let me search the name. And that's when the information I got is that, you know, Gypsy Rose Blanchard was actually really a victim of her mother, who they say probably had Munchausen syndrome by proxy. And just awful, really. I don't like, there's so many failures in this. Failure of the healthcare system. I mean, the abuse that she must have gone throughout her life. And I thought I was looking at a early teenager, and actually she was in her 20s. And this was all part of it. So this happened in 2015. Where she, you know, she's released from prison because of murdering her mother. She didn't actually do the act. They say it was her who got her boyfriend to do it, and he did it. Now, half of us probably can't get a text back, but yeah. And what I found weird was she was in her 20s. And apparently now she's 32. Now, I don't know if there's other readers that done any reading on this. They might have done in the beginning. I don't know if now. And I haven't really looked into the full story so that I can actually just channel a little bit off my own. But I want to tap into her energy now, because I really feel like this is going to be very delicate. And I think if it's not treated carefully, I'm not really sure how she's going to cope, okay? And that's not just from being released from prison. So let's just go through what I found, right? She was released from prison this year, 28th of December, a few days ago, after 8 years. She initially was given 10 years. Her boyfriend, who actually killed the mother, and they did it at the house, and Gypsy apparently stayed in the bathroom while he did it, and then they left, and they didn't really make much effort of hiding themselves. They were caught on so many CCTV cameras, and he admitted to it, and obviously she said what she, you know, her part in it, but she never, I feel like the energy, she never really truly thought she would get caught. Like it would be like a missing person case or something. Now, if you look at her photos, you'll feel like she's a kid, and she was purposely made to be dressed up as a child or a teenager, basically. She was told she was wheelchair bound, and she had her head shaved. I think she was told she had muscular dystrophy. I can't remember if that's the word, or I'm getting into my personal training coaching side here. But the wastage of muscle, epilepsy, leukemia at one time. She was actually fed, listen to this, through a tube. Can you imagine? And then suddenly when she's in court, she's standing and testifying. Her voice is a bit squeaky, by the way. But apart from that, it seemed like she didn't have any of everything that she was diagnosed with, and her mother claimed she had. I'm not sure. I'm getting something about she might even have had surgeries that she didn't necessarily need to have. And that to me is like a big failure in the healthcare system. There's a difference between her mother saying, you know, we'll just go to the GP and don't talk or anything like that. And then her mum comes out and says they were at, I don't know, a specialist hospital. And she wouldn't know. That's what I thought. But then she was in her 20s. It's just And then her father got married. I think her father must not have been in contact, but I wonder how many years this had gone on for, because it must have started very early, because she's going to be at an age in her teens to know her, you know, she's already going to be programmed and know norm before her, like in her teens or just before her teens. So I wonder if it started from a born child, which means if she was in her 20s, she must have been around 24. It must have been more or less all her life. I don't really know. If someone's followed this case, let me know, because that just, I find it baffling. And her mum's name was Claudia Blanchard. I'm sensing her boyfriend might have had a bit of, you know, a low kind of IQ and EQ. I understood that I think they met originally online, and then, you know, they were in different states and he travelled to see her. I don't know how many times he did before they agreed to do this. What I understand from the situation is that she felt that the only way to escape was for her mother to be dead. She didn't know how to get help, and she just felt there was constant torture. She got to that stage where she needed help, and he was there to help her, and he thought, I don't know how, what on earth, but they didn't really, yeah, there was definitely a kind of, I don't think I'm going to get caught. I feel that energy. I feel like, and I'll ask the tarot the question, but you can probably imagine that the people, I think, I think they might have been in Missouri, US, must have been shocked. I mean, when she was suddenly not in a wheelchair. But I feel like there isn't a denial, but there wasn't a realization of the impact of the murder. Like constantly thinking it's going to be like a missing persons case, and not quite absorbing the fact of murder. So now she's 32 years old. So she went into prison and served 8 years. I mean, I don't know how long it took for them to do the trials and etc. But she must have been around 23, 24. So let's get into it. Let's see what I get on the tarot. I want to first pull, I mean, she was proven guilty, but let's first pull the energy between her and her mum and see what we get through. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe. And if you've heard of the case and you've followed it, or you followed it years ago, let me know what you know. I just, like, can you imagine just the amount of years of trauma? And I'm going, this is why something in this read I'm going to say, I hope the message goes out there. If the platform was a lot larger, it would probably travel out there, because there's a need to treat this delicately. And I'm going to get into that. Let me just do the read and I'll get into that. So let's look into the energy between, at the time, the energy between Gypsy Rose and Claudia, her mother. The energy between Gypsy Rose and Claudia, her mother, before the death, their relationship. 10 of Cups, Queen of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, Seven of Cups, Three of Swords, Two of Wands. Cards are coming out. Okay. This first row, I said the energy between them, and then the second sort of follow-up question was the energy of the mother towards Gypsy at the time. This is actually where, before things started going a bit wrong, okay? So there was the Ten of Cups, it was overfilled with joy, and maybe she was still with the father at this point, I don't know. Something happened from this Ten of Cups, the grief and the loss, that made the mother turn. And she was in her mind a lot, and I feel like her turn came through options of money, and then it spiraled far out of control. So I don't know if I don't know how she could have got money. Charities, maybe. Or maybe, you know, with Munchausen syndrome by proxy, a lot about it is about attention. So getting that attention, getting money from people, and then it obviously just went too far. And this is where she was in her head. And instead of the Ten of Cups, it changed to, you know, there was a loss at her Ten of Cups. There was a loss that she was grieving. And she was a bit stuck in the past. But then, yeah, very much the energy of the mother to Gypsy was turned into making money. So I feel, whether it's a divorce, whether it's something happened where she'd flipped. And then we have the heartbreak, the Three of Swords card. I just want to check until where you can see. Okay. The Three of Swords card here. Again, I mentioned about heartbreak. And the need to move forward from what she felt was a betrayal. And then we have the Judgment card. Okay. And I feel that this Judgment card is actually where Gypsy's like, I can't take this no more. I need to move on. And I have a feeling that Gypsy will know when, again, I think this happened when Gypsy was quite young. She must have been really young. If it wasn't from like birth, and I don't know how she never got caught. Anyway, Gypsy had had enough, a bit of a wake-up call. I don't know if they increased to have arguments. I don't know if there was an increase in... I don't know if she knew that she was dating this guy, Nick, the mother. And maybe that caused more tension. But the mother did have something happen where she'd flipped. From initially having like, I'm the Ten of Cups. And there was stuff around money here. I'm going to pull more cards. Gypsy decides that it's time to move away. And her decision was to end the chapter. The justice is where they got arrested. And it was for her mum's death. So there's definitely something about money. Let me just pull more cards a moment. Yeah. This could have been where, you know, the father left, and so then the mother was, you know, they just left it both ways. She was sat looking at how she's gonna work on things. Maybe looking a bit at her finances. 1 second. Yeah. Not happy with life. Maybe a little bit of regret. But there wasn't much going for her. Whatever was offered to her wasn't enough. Maybe this is around child support, or maybe he wasn't paying child support. She really wanted to focus on money. Now, whether this was initially to stabilize what she needed to be the mother and the provider, okay. I don't know if there was a choice for her to have, if she said that she wanted Gypsy, if the father fought for Gypsy, but there's something there, and there was some heavy betrayal and betrayal in this, maybe from the father in their marriage, and it was definitely around obtaining attention and money. Attention for her, okay. And then we get, I've just split the deck, and I've got the Seven of Swords, where there was a lot of hidden tactics. A lot of hidden tactics. Let me just check this deck. I just want to say also, I feel like Gypsy doesn't hold like a lot of hate for her mother. Like, you know, you can hold hate, and you can hold hate with grudges, and you can be like, she's the worst person ever. I can't believe she's put me through that. She ruined my life. I don't feel Gypsy has that, and I think it's because she's realizing the impact that she murdered her mother. And there's a question there. Could she have done something very different? Did it warrant to murder her mother? And I feel that that's what keeps her sort of in a position where what I was involved to do to my mother was a lot larger than what she did to me. I'm still alive. Now, that to me is also questionable, because if she's suffered years of this abuse, that is something. And I know everyone's going to have a different opinion. I'm not stating that anyone should be unalived, but that's the energy I get from Gypsy. And disclaimer, this is for entertainment purposes only. Please use your own fact finding, your own research, and look up the facts, okay? Let's just see. And I won't be surprised, you know, when there's, do you know when there's like a, what do you call it? What was I going to say? Oh, I was channeling something and I had to pick up cards and I forgot. I wouldn't have been surprised that if there was an element of jealousy from the mother, because obviously she's not well, okay, so those things do come through, and I'm just shuffling some cards and I'm going to show you what I've got. I don't know what I've got, so I'm going to turn whatever I haven't seen. Okay. So the cards I've got is probably it was the wrong decision to do. There was love there between them. And I feel obviously more Gypsy. Interesting, jealousy and envy. There is a crime scene, which we know. Now, we've got gunshot, and I don't think it was a gunshot, but I think they might have thought of trying to obtain a gun, and I wonder if they failed to be able to obtain a gun. So if any of you have followed that, then that is definitely, I'm getting that they initially thought of a gun, but that didn't work out. And there was a bit of caution and warning around that, and instead, interesting how they're coming out, a knife was used as the weapon. Okay, I've got this card, and what I'm getting with that VIP or celebrity, I wonder if she had like charities or GoFundMe, or you know, if at the time at some stage, what do you call it, Gypsy, I'm getting two things here. I'm getting the answer to my question why I pulled these cards is that maybe Gypsy got to meet a celebrity through the illness, and the mother was able to reach like attention of people that are known, okay, through what was happening. Okay, so there's a bit about the death, the crime scene, and there's a bit about their energy together. And there was a partner in crime, which we know, which was Nick and what's his Gypsy, and then they met online. There was a bit of a hit and run, okay, and yeah, so that's what I get there. I'm not going to pull any more cards. They seem to be relevant for what I'm getting. Now, what I get here as well is that I wonder if a well-known podcaster, celebrity wants to take the opportunity to get them on the podcast or make a movie or a series, and they get in chats with Gypsy. This is leading into where I want to go in a moment. There was another question that I wanted to ask. Let's ask what's Gypsy's current energy, which I feel I can tap into. And I touched base on so far what she's probably thinking around her mum. I've dropped a card, I'll get it later. So I'm just going to clear these. Put these back, and we're going to go into Gypsy's current energy. Let me just check I've got enough room on there. Yeah, okay. Gypsy's current energy. I don't know how these things can happen, you know. Honestly. It'd be interesting to channel Claudia. Well, let's tap into Gypsy's energy. She's apparently married, by the way, now. She married when she was in prison. How she met this person, I've got no idea. Is it someone who was in the prison with her? Is someone outside of prison? But stay tuned, because I've got a message at the end. And I think we need to share this video so that we can make sure, right, the message gets out to people, because there'll be a lot of exploitation. And like I said, there needs to be some delicacy. You know, we're dealing with a human here. And I'm not saying what she did is right, but we don't want another event that's not going to be very nice. Like, she's still got stored trauma within her. Now, if you notice anything about the way she talks while she's testifying in prison, there was a 2-minute interview and I didn't watch any other one because I wanted to do this read without really knowing much and just going with the flow of what I'm channeling. She talks very well, and that's actually where I was like, this cannot be a teen after 8 years. This is not someone who's a teen. And so it's surprising to me. Like, I wonder if she read a lot of books and stuff, but then if she was told that she was also told her ear and vision is impaired. Can you imagine? I can't imagine. She was fed by a tube. I wonder if she was hungry a lot as well. Okay, so let's ask, what am I asking? Okay. There's a card, I think that flipped. Okay, we'll have a look. I think some of these cards are going to be interesting. Okay. You know, obviously she's happy to get out. I think she does recognize that the abuse she suffered is not acceptable. So I don't think like she's like, no, I should be in prison forever. I don't think that. I feel like she feels that she has done enough sentencing and she deserved this early release to have a new chapter to get on with her life. Her new chapter is going to be really about being careful, I feel, on what she manifests and take forward. And that will lead to certain destinies and journeys. At the end, we have a destiny, but certain journeys. She's in a bit of a reclusive energy. So I wonder if she's been, because the other thing I get is she's going to be overwhelmed with the amount of offers of people trying to contact her to do stuff. She is going to be in the money if she takes everything, but some of these things is going to be unhealthy and is going to be to the borderline of exploitation because the other party is making money even though she is as well. And if she's not healed, so this is the message I want to say, if she's not healed and things are not treated delicately, she will get eaten by the media, okay? Because people are just hungry, and that's where I think things need to be careful. I do think that sometimes she still feels a bit trapped, and I don't know why I'm getting also Nick, the boyfriend. I feel like he might appeal once he knows she's out, like, you know, for example, she made me do it, so why am I serving a life sentence in prison? I don't know if he got, so I think he might try and go into a plea deal to shorten his sentence. We'll have to watch out for that. But I feel like she obviously she's in a bit of a reclusive reflection, and obviously she will be. I mean, you're getting out of prison after 8 years, and you're getting out and you're realizing, you know, there's a bit of an absorption, isn't there, of what happened. Because even if it took like a year for her to be sentenced and there was trials and stuff, she would have been in a certain prison after some time, and then whatever prison she needed to go to. But during that time, her stress would have been around maybe trying to prove she's innocent at first, but then guilty, but then focusing on lowering her prison sentence, etc. Whereas now she's out, that's all off her shoulders. There's an absorption that's going to happen, okay? So, yeah, can you see? That's sometimes there's going to be sleepless nights around it and around her mum, but also I'm getting something else around this. Can you see the money that she will be able to get? But she needs to be careful because a lot of things is hidden. And that's why I really hope if she's married to someone who's got his head on, she needs to make sure she picks the right things, which is light. Tell your story, but just make sure you don't get into the darkness of stuff, because she will get there's an element of her needing to really take time out, even though she might have worked on herself in prison. I think she needs to just take things slow if she can. I dare say that maybe paparazzi media will try to see her, get photos of her while this is still in the news. Yeah, so I definitely think she's gonna come up with her story of her prison, of her life in prison. Thought that would come up. Death and rebirth. It's the rebirth of the new chapter and trying to move forward. The Five of Pentacles in reverse. So, you know, with the Eight of the Cups, I get it's the same thing of trying to move forward. And then there's the death and the rebirth. The death of her mother and then the rebirth. And this is about stability, bringing back stability, moving forward with the Chariot as well. Now, with the Five of Pentacles in reverse, this is about feeling helpless at certain times and maybe feeling like I'm not able to move forward, a bit of fear there. Then one thing I do feel is like her self-worth is going to waver, only because, I mean, imagine how many years you've been programmed, and I think I'm going to have to wrap this up very soon because of the recording space. But it's making sure you try and see the light at the end of the tunnel. But really what I wanted to say is we do need to be relatively delicate in this, and media also not to be all in, careful about going into certain offers and what she's talking, who reaches out to her. The best time obviously to do that is right now, because you will get all the offers right now before it dies down, and there's always a new case coming up. High Priestess. I mean, for example, I was going to do a channeling on Savannah Soto, but I really wanted to get this message out, listening to her intuition, going into the Hermit card we saw, self-reflection before moving forward to avoid a tower moment. No rushed in hasty decisions or choices to be made, making sure she gets the give and take equally from whatever she goes forward in. Slow and practical is what she needs to do, as well as use her discernment, as well as use her intuition and listening to herself. I think she might also need to have a counsel in place that helps her, guides her and mentors her. Even with the Hierophant, I see that. You know, I think she needs someone in her corner to help her know what projects to take on, help her discern. And there is still justice and karmic balance coming into place. So I think that's what she really needs to do. And that is my message. Like, you know, I don't know how social media is about this, but I think, know that she's human, but just always think of what she's been through. And I don't know how much help she's had, but it must have been for many years, okay? And even if your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, etc. have treated you that way, there's always that energetic bond, and it's not easy to let go of. So this is what I have for you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, give it a share, give it a like, subscribe. Let me know you've just subscribed if you subscribed. And I do want to also thank my subscribers, especially those of you that give me feedback and comments and really are helping so that we can try and break the algorithm. And I can do these readings live, because then I can also take your questions. Once the channel grows, it still needs a bit. But yeah, take care and stay blessed, everyone. Bye for now.